Hello, beautiful beings, and welcome to this session where we will show our nervous system some love. We will be connecting to the breath today, doing some self-massage, some exercises for the vagus nerve, and a bit of acupressure. So this practice should be available to anyone with no contraindications. If you are seated on the floor, perhaps having a pillow beneath you, but if a chair or couch is more comfortable, or the only thing available to you is laying down, you do this practice however your body feels. So take a moment to just get as comfortable as possible, perhaps leaning into the sits bones or moving the shoulders around. And once you feel as though you have arrived, begin to observe the breath. Just noticing, shutting down the eyes at any point if that feels comfortable to you. And beginning to breathe in and out of the nose. And if you are going to describe your breath, what words would show up for you? Is the breath feeling calm and deep? Is it maybe feeling a little bit rushed or shallow? Perhaps you notice that simply bringing the awareness to the breath, you notice that it feels soothing to deepen the inhale a little bit more and to extend and elongate the exhale a little bit more. If you are ever feeling overwhelmed or anxious, the simplest tool is to remember to have your exhales be even longer than your inhales. So you can keep that in mind in the future and just see if you can slow down and extend your exhales. Let's place one hand over the belly and one hand over the heart. And we will deepen the inhales by breathing into the belly, and then perhaps feeling the ribs expand, and then the chest rise, and feeling everything deflate on the exhale. Continuing to breathe just like that, feeling the belly inflate, the ribs expand, and the chest rise. And noticing everything deflate on the exhale, slow and controlled. Again, belly, ribs, chest, and feeling everything deflate. Two more just like that. Slow, controlled exhale. And on the next breath, take your deepest inhale yet, holding for a few seconds at the top. And this time, releasing with a big sigh. Relaxing the arms down. And next, let's shift our awareness to the body. First, perhaps noticing what is supporting your body. Whether you are seated or laying down, just notice that you are being held. That you can relax even more and you are supported. No matter how chaotic or uncertain things can feel at times, you are always being supported. And next, let's do a body scan, starting at the top of the head, moving down with the breath, slowly all the way to your tip of your toes. And as you move through the body, if any spaces show up where there is tension or discomfort, breathe a nice deep breath into that space. And on the exhale, think of letting go and softening. Continuing to move through the body just like that. So starting at the top of the head, scanning through the body, slowly moving with the breath. Surrendering to whatever shows up. Breathing some love, some light into anywhere that might need it. And on the exhales, letting go. Surrender and soften. And when you have reached the tip of your toes, I invite you to bring your awareness to the mind. How is your mind feeling today? Is it feeling calm and clear? Is it maybe feeling a bit busy or cloudy? Let's take a few moments to connect the mind to the breath, using the breath as our anchor to stay grounded in this present moment and to gain a little control over the mind and our thoughts rather than perhaps letting them have some control over us. So on our inhales, thinking to yourself, breathing in, and on the exhale, thinking, breathing out. Just keeping the mind with the breath as best we can. And it does not matter if thoughts show up, perhaps about the past or the future, gently releasing those thoughts and returning to breathing in, breathing out. It doesn't matter how many times thoughts may show up, without judgment, releasing and returning. And for the next 3 cycles of breath, doing your best to keep the mind completely with the breath in this moment. Breathing in, breathing out. And as we sit here, perhaps a little more connected, I invite you to set a sankalpa for our practice here today. A little intention, whether that is something you wish to cultivate or energy you wish to send to someone or yourself, whatever shows up, just expressing that here to yourself now. Next, shutting down the eyes if they are not already, and bringing our attention and awareness to the forehead and the eyebrows, and welcoming them to relax a little bit more, inviting in a sense of melting. And then welcoming in that same sense of melting to the entire face and the jaw, just letting everything relax. Letting the jaw hang heavy in the mouth. We tend to carry so much tension in our jaws sometimes, and this can translate to other places in the body. So let's bring some attention and love to that space. First, let's open the mouth wide and move the jaw from side to side. And then in circles. And then we will take the index and middle finger, the knuckle, just in front of the right ear, dragging down above the jawbone into the muscle there, just thinking of releasing any tension we might be holding. Moving at your own pace and on to the other side whenever ready. So 2 knuckles in front of the ear, dragging down just above the bone into the muscle, helping to release any tension. And then taking the index knuckle, starting at the inside of the eyebrows, pulling out with some nice pressure. Again, just thinking of releasing any tension. Maybe across the forehead and the cheeks and up the jaw. Next, let's move on into our arms. So let's start with the left forearm, giving ourselves a forearm massage from the elbow down to the wrists. And then massaging into the palm. And maybe starting with the thumb, massaging into the fingers. And then again, starting with the thumb, with the index and thumb of the other hand, just grabbing the tip of the finger and loosely moving back and forth, just helping to relax the joints a bit. And moving on to each finger, just grabbing the tip. Moving on to the other arm whenever you're ready. So again, just getting into the forearm, massaging into these muscles that do so much for us. And then into the hand, massaging the palm and the fingers. And starting with the thumb, just moving back and forth, wiggling, helping to relax the joints. And then placing the right hand over the left, just moving back and forth, getting some circulation going in the hands there. And then moving on to the other side. And then moving back to the left forearm, we're going to take a fist of the right hand and just scrape from elbow down to the wrist. Some extra love over the wrist as we have a heart meridian there. And then moving past the bone to the top of the forearm. And moving on to the other side. So inside of the forearm, a little extra love over the wrist. And then past the bone, just all along the top of the forearm. And coming back to our comfortable seat. Let's do a few gentle half moons with our head. So bringing the chin down to the chest and moving to one side. Let's inhale here. And on an exhale, moving to the other side. Only if this feels okay in your body. Inhaling here. And to the other side. And one more. And next, keeping the head straight, we're going to take the fingers of the right hand and bring them to the left side of the neck and pull against the neck, resisting, keeping the head straight, just pulling just below the skull into the neck. And release. And once more. And then this time just pulling across the neck, massaging into the neck here. And then moving on to the other side. So fingers of the left hand placed just under the skull on the neck. And we are going to pull in with some good pressure, keeping the head straight. And release. And once more. And then pulling and massaging along the neck. And then let's take both hands and just pull into the neck, pulling apart, moving up from the bottom to the top. And then massaging into the traps. So first just pulling up and over a few times. And then really squeezing into the trap, moving from the inside to the outside, even to the shoulder. And then the other side, just pulling forward a few times. And then massaging in, moving from the inside to the outside. I hope it's not too scratchy with my mic. Okay, let's move on to some breath. Here we are going to inhale as though we are sipping through a straw. Hold at the top and exhale with a deep hum. Feeling that hum move down into the pelvis. So a few deep breaths like that. Inhale as though sipping through a straw. Exhale with a deep hum. Continuing just like that. deepest inhale yet, holding for a few seconds at the top and releasing with a deep sigh. So humming helps to stimulate the vagus nerve, longest cranial nerve in the body, a big effect on a number of different systems within the body and organs, and a large effect on emotional regulation. So we are just going to send some sensory input to the nerve today, letting the body know that we are safe and able to relax. Very normal if you yawn during these exercises, and just great tools to have in your toolkit anytime. First thing in the morning, before bed, great to help you sleep, before something you might feel nervous for. So let's get started. First, let's take the right hand and right ear. We are going to place the index finger behind the ear, the other 3 fingers in front, and first just very loosely moving up and down around 10 times. The number is not super important. And then holding there with a bit of pressure, and while keeping that pressure, moving up and down again around 10 times. And then with that same pressure, moving in circles, one direction, and circles the other direction. Moving on to the other side whenever you are ready, always moving at your own pace. So again, index finger behind the ear, the other 3 fingers in front, and just very loosely moving up and down. And then holding with some pressure and moving up and down. And then with that same pressure, circles in one direction and the other direction. If a yawn shows up, let it. Relaxing the arms down, shutting down the eyes, and just noticing, observing any shifting, any sensations. Next, let's take the right index finger, finding the top groove of the right ear, and then moving towards the front in the groove, top front groove of the ear. And here we are just going to make very gentle little circles in one direction, more thinking of just moving the skin around rather than pushing. And then circles the other direction. I guess I needed this. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders. Moving on to the other side whenever you feel ready. So index finger, the top groove of the ear just towards the front, and very gentle little circles. And circles in the other direction. Relaxing the arms down and just noticing. Next, let's show our SCM, or sternocleidomastoid, a bit of love. So this big muscle in your neck, if you turn to the side, it should poke out a bit there. And first, we're just going to start at the bottom and take the skin only and pull the skin loosely out from the bottom up to the top. And then returning to the bottom, we're going to actually grab the muscle itself, pull out, and then back and forth a few times, moving up the neck just like that. Grabbing the muscle, pulling out, back and forth, and moving up. Moving on to the other side. So locating your SCM here, starting at the bottom. First, just very loosely pulling the skin outwards from bottom to top, and then grabbing the muscle itself, pulling out and back and forth. And continuing just like that. Moving up, pulling out. Some parts might be more sensitive than others. And relaxing back down. Just noticing. Let's move on to my favorite acupressure point if I am feeling anxious or overwhelmed. This is a go-to for me. So we're going to locate the bottom of the sternum and then moving up around 4 fingers right in the middle, pushing in with the thumb. And you might want to just move around a tiny little bit and notice if there is somewhere that shows up that's a little bit more spicy or sensitive. And sometimes I like to take the other hand and just push on top for a little bit of extra pressure. And we're just going to breathe right into this space, the center of the heart space. A good tool to use if feeling emotionally overwhelmed or also if having trouble sleeping. Breathing in deeply on the inhales and on the exhales, just thinking of letting go. Few more deep breaths here. Maybe again, letting go of some hums on the exhale and just noticing that vibration, allowing that hum to soothe your nervous system. On the next exhale, gently releasing, maybe rubbing into the chest a little bit, maybe tapping along the chest with the fingertips and up and down the sternum. Let's move on to another acupressure point here today, large intestine 4. Do not do this acupressure point if you are pregnant. If so, taking the thumbs perhaps to the bottom of the cheekbones and leaning into stomach 3. Also feels really nice, so you can take your pick. That one, or spreading the thumb and index finger apart and placing the opposite thumb just over that webbing and pressing in. So this is a very popular and powerful acupressure point known as Union Valley. There are a number of different benefits to this pressure point here. So things from headaches to migraines to digestion. You can do this pressure point every day. So again, just breathing into what shows up. Surrendering. Continuing to observe the breath. And just noticing, can you relax your jaw a bit more? Can you relax the shoulders a bit more? can you let go a bit more? A few more deep breaths here. And on the next exhale, gently release. Moving on to the other side. So in acupressure, if something's in the middle, we do it once. And if it's on the left or right, we always do both sides. So spreading the fingers apart, opposite thumb just over the webbing. And again, pushing in, surrendering to what shows up. You might notice that one side feels completely different from the other side. Very normal. This can also change from day to day. Breathing in, letting go. Always knowing that we can use the breath as our greatest tool to keep us grounded in the present moment. A few more deep breaths. And on your next exhale, release. Let's interlace the fingers and just get into the wrists a bit. And next, placing the feet in front of you, little diamond shape here. Let's start to just massage into the feet here. So always welcome to use your body weight. Let's first just rub down the arches of the feet, both at the same time. And then leaning in with some body pressure, first starting at the ankles, and then the middle of the foot, then over the ball of the foot. And moving back, middle of the foot, and over the ankles. And just making some half circles around the ankles. And then starting with the left foot, we are going to press just under the ball of the foot in the middle. And then slightly below that, right in the middle of the foot. And then down further, just above the heel. And then those same 3 points, but to the inside of the foot. So above the heel, breathing in, a little higher in the middle of the foot. And then above the ball of the foot on the inside, just below the big toe. And let's do those 6 pressure points once more. So below the middle of the ball of the foot, you can always lean in with some body weight. And then down to the middle of the foot. And then down further, just above the heel. And then the same 3 points, but to the inside of the foot. So above the heel, middle of the foot, and just below the ball of the foot. And then grabbing the toes, pulling the foot outwards a bit. We will take the knuckles, just dragging down along the arch of the foot. And then massaging into the ball of the foot with the thumbs. And just kneading with the palms of the thumbs, opening the foot. And moving on to the other side. So give the arch of the foot a little bit more love. And then our 6 pressure points. So again, just starting at the very middle of the ball of the foot, just below, pushing in with some good pressure. And then below that into the middle of the foot. And just in front of the heel. And then over to the inside of the foot, at front of the heel. And up to the middle of the foot. And just under the ball of the foot. Once more, below the middle of the ball of the foot. Into the very middle. Just above the heel. And then over to the inside of the foot in front of the heel. Up to the middle. And below the ball of the foot. And then grabbing the top of the foot, extending out and dragging down with the knuckles. And then massaging into the ball of the foot with the thumbs. And using the thumbs to just knead across the entire foot. Next, we are going to move on to a very powerful pressure point called the 3 yin meet. So just behind the ankles, you're then going to move up around 3 fingers. You can do both at once. And push in with the thumbs. So again, just behind the ankles, moving up around 3 fingers and pushing in with the thumbs. So seated however is comfortable. Can lean in with the body weight. This one can be quite sensitive, a meeting point of 3 main organs, big point for circulation, for flow. So just breathing deeply into this space, surrendering to what shows up. Breathing right in, maybe pursing the lips a little bit on the exhales, releasing. Couple more deep breaths here. And on an exhale, gently releasing. Let's move on to an acupressure point for the liver. We'll do each foot once at a time. So starting on the left foot, in between the big toe and the second toe, moving up to where you feel spicy today. The bones connect, and just in front of there, you're going to push in with the thumb. So in Chinese medicine, each organ is associated with an emotion, and the liver, this liver point, the liver is associated with anger, frustration. So just breathing into this space, surrendering to what shows up. You will notice that how these pressure points feel can change so much from day to day, from side to side. Just accepting whatever is there. Breathing in. letting go. Moving on to the other side whenever you feel ready. So again, in between the big toe and the second toe, moving up, up, up to where you feel those bones connect, and just in front of there, pressing in with some good pressure. Breathing in, letting go. Can you relax the jaw? Can you relax the shoulders? How is your breath flowing? A few more deep breaths here. Gently releasing. And once again, let's bring our feet in front of us, creating this diamond shape. And now we are going to make our hands into fists, starting just above the ankles and just hitting in, moving all the way up to the groin. Maybe sometimes alternating and sometimes in unison. Again, just for circulation, for lymphatic drainage, keeping everything moving. And then the outside of the legs, so again, just knocking in all the way up to the top of the thigh. And then starting at the bottom of the legs, using as much of your own body weight as possible, just massaging in on the inside of the tibia, moving up, and then into the thigh. Once again, just coming to your most comfortable position, perhaps shutting down the eyes again and just noticing how is your breath flowing? How is your body feeling? How is your mind? Let's bring the palms together in front of the heart space and just take a moment to express some gratitude right here for whatever shows up for you. Just taking a moment to express that to yourself now. And then let's rub the palms together to create some heat. Placing them over the eyelids and just rolling out with a bit of gentle pressure. And then massaging across the forehead and cheeks and jaw. Maybe placing the palms over the ears a few times. And then taking the fingertips and massaging across the hairline. And then the entire scalp. And gently touching across the whole body. Thank you so much for taking this time here with me today. I hope you are feeling calm. I hope to sit with you again soon.